Hi friends, Sherin Mathews, the storyteller. I have an interesting story. Interesting because it's my own story and it's a little funny at the same time. It has taught me something very important, that one human being can have a profound influence on another human being by just using their words. Positive words can make and transform somebody's life for the good, whereas negative words can simply rip apart somebody. So this happened when I was in 8th grade. And all my nice memories are related to 8th grade because probably my 8th grade teacher, Mrs. Meena Bagchi, was my favorite teacher in the school. And this story is especially devoted to her because she's responsible for making me the kind of person I am. So, one day, there was an announcement of an elocution competition. Now, you have to know that at that point of time, I was a kid who had zero confidence, zero self-esteem. I didn't even know what that was. I could not face, leave alone a crowd, even I could not hold a conversation with a new friend in the school. And if a teacher entered the class and if she looked at me, I'll try to hide, because I didn't want to be asked any question. So she walks in and then she asks everybody, so who all are taking part in the elocution competition? And some hands go up. I, of course, could not even think of it. It's beyond me. So then she looks at me and says, Sherin, are you not participating? I was stunned because it was, I cannot put it in words. I was just stunned because I never thought she would know my name. Then she dropped another bomb. She asked me, she told me, Sherin, you're one of my best speakers in the class. How come you have not prepared for the elocution competition? Okay, I didn't faint, but if it were a cartoon movie or a comics, you see those characters on whom the bomb had fallen. There's smoke coming out of their ears, their eyes are coming out of their sockets with stars in it, and all their hair is flayed out, fanned out on top of their heads, and they're standing there. That is exactly how I felt at that time. Really, I could not move. And then she said, okay, it doesn't matter if you've not prepared. Do one thing, take Sadaf's paper and you read. Oh my God. As it is, I was in shock and thought of actually reading something for some time in front of my friends was just too much. So I got up with great difficulty and went and stood in front of everybody. I reluctantly took Sadaf's paper and then I started reading. And I was spaced out, zonked, zapped. I just didn't know what I was doing at the time. All that I remember is that I was trembling from head to foot and I could not speak and my knees were shaking and hitting each other. So I took this paper and I started reading. And when I started reading, the sound of the paper, because my hands were trembling, was louder than my own words. And when that grueling ordeal got over, Mrs. Meena Bagchi looked at me and said, Sherin, you're a great speaker. And I walked like that and went and sat in my chair without knowing what happened, what I did and what's happening. So that moment was like that. But then I think it kept on getting processed inside my head so much. Immediately I did not start speaking. I was very scared and nobody on the earth could make me speak. Though I loved the idea, still I could not. So till 12th grade, I harbored and nursed this idea about going and speaking on the stage, but I could not. I could not muster up enough courage to go and stand on the stage, face people and talk. When I came to college, you know, I never, ever forgot what Mrs. Meena Bagchi had told me. When I came to college, I saw I saw on the notice board there was an invitation for an elocution competition. And I thought, I'm big enough now and I must at least give it a try. After all, Mrs. Meena Bagchi had said that I am a great speaker. So I enrolled my name in the competition. It was a inter-college competition. So, and then I prepared and I went and I stood. When I entered the auditorium, there were so many people and everybody had a paper in their hand and everybody was walking around and they were revising what they had learned and there were all kind of actions they were doing, and I was like, hey Bhagwan, I have not even brought the paper with me. And when I went on the stage, I was like so sure that I'm going to hold the mic and fall off on the audience who were sitting down. But you know what? When I went and stood there, I was definitely afraid. But 2 minutes after I started speaking, I don't know what overcame me. I felt like it was my stage and I spoke my heart out. I spoke things which I had not prepared and written on my paper. And I came first. Isn't that amazing? And when I came first, I was amazed again. My first agi. And then I went for many elocution competitions and I was always first. I never even stood second. And then there was this national debate competition. And nobody from my college had ever gone for a national debate competition. So my principal was very reluctant. She didn't want to send me. So I had this teacher, two teachers, Kekri ma'am and I'm forgetting her name. So when I'll remember, I'll bring out her name. They both actually went and fought for me with the principal. I don't know. I get principals and teachers who go and fight for me. Isn't that amazing? So they said, you have to send Sherin. Nobody has ever won a competition from our college and you have to send. And she said, I will take leave without pay and I will go with Sherin. So she came with me to Delhi. And then I won. And then I went to Orissa, Bhubaneswar for another competition. I won over there also. And then, since then, I've been talking and look at me now. I do a full-time job of talking and talking and talking. I have said thank you to Mrs. Meena Bagchi a lot of times on FB and I have written to her. So this is once more, ma'am. Hardtail, I really feel that it is divinely inspired and it's very close to my heart. And that is why it is called Hardtail. And I want to include every story that has touched my life also in my Hardtails. And this is a very big thank you to you for teaching me how a teacher should be or how a human being should be. I try to be all that with my children, my students. And there's another story on how one of my students called Rohit, whom even I didn't believe would win, but he won an elocution competition in spite of a lot of challenges, just because I kept on telling him, Rohit, you will win. Rohit, you will win. Thank you so much for putting this in my system, in my head and my heart. I love you, Mrs. Meena Bagchi, and I hope this entire world at some or the other time in their lives meet a Mrs. Meena Bagchi to make their lives more richer, more happier, more fulfilled, and more purposeful. Thank you so much.